G'day everyone, I hope you're well. I hope you're staying out of trouble and keeping yourself safe. I'm back in the capital of Ukraine. I've been down in the south and in the Far East over the past week, and I promise some of that footage is coming. But today, I guess, the country is somewhat holding its breath, and many people observing this war around the world are also holding their breath. Tomorrow is May 9th. In Russia, May 9th is Victory Day. This commemorates the formal surrender of Nazi Germany in 1945 of the Soviets, Russians, I guess, declaring Victory Day over that Nazi Germany. The reason that this is significant here and has a lot of people holding their breath and a lot of people who have either returned to Ukraine now leaving, or the NGOs here leaving and the media leaving, is tomorrow's May 9th. This special military operation, as Putin calls it, and the senior officials there call it in Russia, was against Nazis in Ukraine. And depending however you feel about that, however you look about that, that is how Putin has justified this war. This is a special military operation against Nazis in Ukraine. And tomorrow is Victory Day over Nazis. So everyone here, whether you're Ukrainian or American, Australian, whatever, is sort of expecting, like, what the hell is going to happen tomorrow? You know, Putin said, no, we're just going to do the parade and stuff as normal, where they drive the trucks down the square of Moscow and whatever. But if this war is on against Nazis, as ridiculous as that may be, or if you agree with that statement, it doesn't matter. If this war is on Nazis, you would somewhat expect that on the day of victory over the Nazis in 1945 being tomorrow, that things may pick up, things may get a bit loud here. We're not really sure. I made a bit of an error in previous statement in this video of calling this a war, not a special military operation. Now, you, me, and I think any other logical person, no matter what your side on, we'll call this a war. This is a war. You know, there's been at least 20,000 Russians killed. Well, I don't really have a grasp on the number of Ukrainians killed, but the civilians just out the road here, it was, I think, or close to 2,000 civilians were just killed out the road here. So it's safe, I guess, to assume it's in the tens of thousands have been killed. And just what this has done in this region, whether you're Russian, Ukrainian, anyone, tens of thousands of people have been killed, and tens of thousands of people's lives have changed, and millions of people have been displaced by this. That's a war. We all know that's a war. But Russia has not formally declared war on Ukraine. They're calling it a special military operation, and that military operation is against Nazis and to denazify eastern Ukraine, yet missiles are being fired into the west of Ukraine. Either way, people, I guess the most speculation and the most sort of assumptions people are making is tomorrow people are expecting Putin to declare war on Ukraine. And what does that change? Does it change anything? Does whatever happen? I guess not really. This is a war anyway. But what that may change is his powers and abilities then to conscript more soldiers and, you know, send more people in. Countries typically don't like declaring war. This is something I've been researching over the past couple of days because, stupid me, and again, I should have known this, but I'm learning, is I sort of thought, like, you know, as soon as you invade a country like this, you have just declared war by rule, and we would call this a war. Not really. Countries don't like to declare war because once you declare war on a country, your public support for that goes, you know, down lots because there's now tens of thousands of people getting killed. Your economy is going to get hit really hard. All this stuff that goes with war. But it's easier to sort of sell a conflict to your population if you call it a special military operation. Very few countries have ever actually legally declared war. So in the United States, for example, since 1816, the US has been involved in 13 what we would call wars, but Congress has only declared war 4 times. This is a very interesting thing. That said, a lot of the writing on wars and conflict and whatever sort of states that anything that has more than 1,000 casualties is then a war. So you, me, and anyone, I guess, would not call this not a war, would not stick to this special military operation against Nazis when you've had thousands of civilians killed. All this, it's just a ridiculous statement of that. And I know I'll cop flack from that, but that just shows that the propaganda machine on the Russian side is working. But I'm not denying that there's not propaganda on both sides. I'm just saying if you truly believe the sentiment of the Ukrainian Nazis, then, you know, the propaganda machine is working and you've been influenced by that. And I'm trying to stay out of that as much as I can on the realm, but we will see. But, and I've also seen that one of the biggest concerns here, I guess, is in the next 24 hours, no one knows what will happen. My gut feeling is nothing, but no one actually knows. And if people say that they do know, then if that person is not Putin, then they don't know. Anyway, over the past couple of days, I've observed a lot of the NGOs, the non-government organisations, things like the humanitarian aid, food aid, medical aid, things like that. A lot of those people have either pulled way further west, they've pulled out of the east, out of even Kiev, the capital, and have pulled further west, or a lot have jumped back into Poland over this next 72-hour, 96-hour period, because I guess everything's up in the air and everything's unknown. But we've also seen a lot of the media, although they will probably have pre-recorded stuff, done whatever, but I know firsthand so much media that I've talked to in restaurants and bars and stuff, because Kiev is very, you know, normal city, I guess, at the moment. So you can go to a bar and, you know, as long as it's outside of curfew, and talk to other journalists. But a lot of their, like, I'm sure the journalists probably want to stay, but their companies, these big mainstream companies, they're all or not all, but a lot of them are pulling their journalists out of country for that 96-hour sort of period over the 9th of May. And this is a bit of a weird thing, because what could happen is these volunteers, NGOs and stuff, you know, they pull out for an amount of time, they get into Poland, they have a beer, and, you know, like I know right now if I went to Poland and just relaxed and had a beer, that I'd get finish line goggles on and I'd be like, I'm just going to go home. And I think that could happen to a lot of these volunteers who are doing fantastic work. Hopefully some of the volunteers do actually go out and go home, because there's a lot of, I guess, wannabe fictional character people playing out their Call of Duty dream here, who are not actually supplying any aid, they're just getting in the way. But that's a video for another day. So that's, I guess, my brief explanation of what's happening on May 9th. Could be nothing, it could be everything, it could be war, we don't know. But I'll be here in the capital. I'm heading east in the next day or so. But everything is remaining flexible for what happens. So either way, I'll have my camera with me and I'll be telling you as casually and as openly as I can. So thank you very much. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And thank you for all the support. I really, really appreciate it on this third trip now into Ukraine. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.